been on this journey my whole life because it started with my name, Talitha Cumi, which literally means little girl, wake up. And I can't say it's been easy. There's been a lot of bumps and bruises along the way. But I believe life is all in your decision making. The I Am Talitha Cumi show is a combination of things that I love to talk about. And I want to enlighten you, encourage you, and inspire you to be the best you can be with some help from my guests. Let's talk about it.
And we are live here at the Guest-mCheyenne Foundation Gala event, you guys.
I feel like there are so many people, like you said, that are in pain from stress or whatever it is, and we're going to the doctor. They're giving us this medication. This medication sometimes is making us worse. Sometimes the medication is not working. Sometimes the medication has so many side effects.
So is there anything that I left?
No, other than my name is pronounced Georgianae.
Georgia, I was pronouncing that all wrong. Georgianae. My bad. I hate when people pronounce my name wrong too.
Tappity Kuma.
That is going to be forever funny and forever my intro. He totally butchered my name, but it's okay. So thank you guys for tuning in to the I Am Talitha Cumi show on Vegas Hype Media. And remember, you can catch us here every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. on our Food for the Soul Media Group FB page and YouTube station, and also on Vegas Hype Media's FB page and YouTube station, and the Mixler app for those of you who just want to listen to us live. And so I got to shout out Quan on the ones and twos, keeping us looking and sounding right. And also I gotta shout out my baby. He's not in the studio, Big Bobby B, but he is live in our chat room right now. So if you have any comments, go ahead and buzz in or tap in there. And if you're on our FB page, go ahead and tap in there as well. So as always, I am talking to my guest about some stuff that you may just want to know about, or some stuff you may just want to weigh in on. And my disclaimer, as always, these are my opinions, not facts, just my opinions. And some of the opinions of our guests are not always the opinions of the I Am Talitha Cumi show, Food for the Soul Media Group, or Vegas Hype Media. And if, like I said, if you want to weigh in, go ahead and comment. And if you are there on our YouTube station, make sure that you click that subscribe button. It's Food for the Soul Media Group. And if you're on our Facebook, make sure you like and share our page. And also go to my Instagram, and you can follow me on Food for the Soul Media Group. And I am _Talitha Cumi, or I am Talitha _Cumi. I always mess that up, y'all. I'm so sorry. So last week, Bobby and I, we just talked about, some random stuff that came to mind. I did the stellar blue carpet this past weekend. So shout out to all the artists we spoke to and all of the winners. We had a really, really good time. And we are continuing our discussion about independence this month, you guys, for the month of July. And we have one more show to go. But tonight's show, we are discussing our food and healthy eating, you guys. I know we talk about that a lot, but I want to weigh in with an expert. And so I named the show And the Color is Green, in reference to The Wiz. If any of you guys have ever seen The Wiz, I love that part when they're doing all the colors. So my special guest tonight is Cheyenne Kyle of the Obodo. Is that how you pronounce
Obodo.
it? Obodo Collective. Yes. And so Obodo is the Igbo word for both city and Igbo. Okay. For both city and community. The founders were inspired by the purposeful growth and development of their people, largely due to their egalitarian, I'm messing up so bad, egalitarian, is that how you pronounce that too?
That is.
Society. So in an egalitarian system, the focal point is interdependence, and executive decisions are focused on mutual growth and survival. They aggregate the services of existing aid organizations at the community level into a central hub and identify those areas that are currently underserviced and create new opportunities to address them. Obodo believes that by combining the strengths of the disparate talents that exist to serve the community, they can better serve the whole community and be unified. At Obodo, they are committed to the long-term work of transforming their communities into vibrant, healthy, and supportive places to live for generations to come. They believe Get Help, Give Help captures what that means. When we are invested in each other, we create a resilient community. They're intentional about building strategic pathways out of poverty to ensure generational prosperity by aggregating and developing resources, services, and opportunities already embedded in the communities. I totally butchered a lot of that
It's
stuff.
a mouthful.
But you know what?
Hearing
It was
you
a
read
lot.
it back, I
See,
was all like,
you're
yo.
like, yeah, we're
Yeah.
dope. And so but I had to read it dope. So I'll get better, y'all. So welcome to the show, Cheyenne. I appreciate you coming out.
Thank you for having me.
I wanted to talk about one of our communities for a minute where 1 in 4 residents, I was reading, in Las Vegas's historic West Side are food insecure, meaning that they have no or little access to healthy food. The city is trying to change that, and we'll get into that a little later on what's going on over there. But I read an article on KNPR where they spoke about your organization, and they quoted you. They quoted you saying that we have to understand that food insecurity is a symptom of poverty and it never exists outside of poverty. When you look in this neighborhood, you see the symptoms of the reason that there hasn't been grocery stores over here, because they tend to go where they feel like they're going to receive a profit. There's plenty of gas stations and liquor stores, you said. It's not that there hasn't been any sort of development, but that the intentional investment into this community and into the health and well-being of this community, it cannot just come from putting up a building. It has to be something that we have to try to edify the members that live over here. We have to talk to them. We have to empower them. And that is what I specifically do here at our urban farm. So, what I want to talk about first is, how are you doing that? How are you empowering the community and other underserved food insecure communities?
I think my first method is education.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't expect people to understand what they don't know. And there's a lot of things or a lot of ways that you can create change in a person's life by just informing them and giving them knowledge to make these decisions for themselves.
Okay.
So first and foremost, it's, about education. For me specifically, when I first relocated out here with my family, the West Side was the neighborhood where I grew up. So I got to see all of that, and see it firsthand. So also being a person that is coming at it from an angle more than just, I want to help these poor Black people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because nobody really, pity's not really going to get us anywhere.
Okay.
The work that we do is not about, it's not about salvation. It is about solidarity
Okay.
and being able to build community.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you say pity, are you saying that a lot of times when people come in to help, they are looking at our community saying that we can't help ourselves? Or
What I'm saying is that, and I've had to check myself too. So this
Okay.
is not something that is just me saying it just to say it, but one lesson that I had to learn doing this work and wanting to be effective and efficient with doing this work is that I have to understand when certain situations come, you have to ask yourself, do I want to be helpful or do I want to make myself feel good?
Okay.
Because sometimes what you need to do to be helpful is not what you would consider the immediate, that most people have great intentions. A lot of people have great intentions,
Okay.
but it has to be about more than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can understand that. But what I also want to ask is, why do you think there's a slew of businesses in our communities like liquor stores and fast food restaurants, and would they not be there if we didn't patronize them? I feel like they would not be there if we weren't going to liquor store every 5 minutes, or if we weren't going to fast food restaurants.
So something that I also like to kind of illuminate is like the illusion of choice. Because a lot of times in schools, like T1 schools and stuff like that, schools in these neighborhoods, they'll have like the My Plate chart of things that you can eat. This is what you need to eat to be healthy, right? And you'll see all of these different things that are displayed, but when you actually go out in the environment, this is not available.
Okay.
And then we go ahead and demoralize that community for not making better decisions when in actuality, that decision is not actually present here. I don't have another choice.
Okay.
So when you think about it, the way I think about how businesses, those specific businesses, expand within, you know, Black, brown neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Is because of a little bit more of like, you think about the lifestyles of the people that live there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We are often, you know, working jobs that you don't have a lot of time. You don't have, you know, it's the convenience factor.
Yes.
And within convenience, we have so many options.
Okay.
So it's coming more so of like supply and demand. And it's not necessarily if they weren't there, we wouldn't patronize them. It's if our lifestyles were different, then we wouldn't have a need to patronize them as much.
Okay.
Because for me personally, excuse me, I love food. I will never blame the food.
Okay.
But I do want to make sure that people are educated and they understand that you need to eat for how you want your body to feel. You need to eat for the life you want to live, for your intentions. You know what I mean? If you want to be a CEO or you want to have a thriving business, you need to make sure that you were feeding the systems of your body that are going to help you get there. Okay. And you cannot do that surviving off of fast food.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as you're saying that, you're saying that, so that means that are we having to drive further? Are we having to start to do our own thing, you know, with that?
Yeah.
Because like you said, if I don't have a whole lot of time, if I have a job where I'm, you know, working a 12-hour shift or whatever, and then I come home and I have a choice between McDonald's and coming home and cooking, you know, I might choose McDonald's at 3 or 4 days out of the week.
It's so easy. It is super, super easy. So, you know, I'm never the type of person to just give you problems without giving solutions.
Okay.
And I understand that. You know what I mean? I don't have any kids. I don't, you know what I mean? But just the nature of my work and my life, I'm doing a lot of ripping and running. So I can totally understand not wanting to come home and have to cook for a family. And I love to cook. And you know what I mean? So I get that. What I would say is maybe you don't have to make a whole meal from scratch. Maybe there's parts of it that you can do, you know what I mean? Or things that you could do over a course of a couple days. Maybe like one of my favorite things to do when I'm in a rush and I don't feel like cooking, but we got to eat and I don't want fast food, I like to go to the grocery stores and get one of those little rotisserie chickens.
Okay. Yeah.
And with a whole rotisserie chicken, there's a bunch of different meals you can make. We can have chicken and rice. We could do mashed potatoes. We could do some, you know, then from that point, it's just about creating your sides, which generally are less time consuming than having to create a whole meal from scratch.
Absolutely.
So those are some good options. Even if you do have to, or it is more convenient for you to go to a fast food location, think about, again, how you want your body to feel. You know what I mean? There's salads available at certain places. There are just healthier options. Not everything has to be deep fried. There are places that grill their proteins. You can substitute for a different protein. If you're always doing beef, do chicken, or maybe do turkey, or do the veggie burger every once in a while, you know, stuff like that. Just switch it up in order to kind of adapt.
Do you think that there are more, or are there studies that show that there are more grocery stores in other communities than in our communities?
Absolutely.
And then
almost 2.5 times. It's crazy.
Do they think we don't have money, or like what the heck? Why would we not have grocery stores
such
to go to?
A multi-leveled, so like deep. Like there's so many levels. So many levels to it, you know what I mean? But it definitely has to do with the majority of our neighborhoods having experienced redlining. So any businesses that come here don't see this as, you know what I mean, somewhere I want to invest. I don't think that it's, you know what I mean? I don't feel like I'm going to get the return on investment here if I go ahead and I put a grocery store here. But that's so much of that is intentional, because when you think about it and you go through the process, one thing I learned when building our urban farm, every single step of this process, I had to go through somebody. So for every liquor store, gas station, smoke shop, or whatever that's on the corner, instead of a grocery store, instead of a library, there are people who we can hold accountable that are supposed to be representatives of our communities, that we could say, hey, why is this getting passed? This is the 5th gas station in the month. You know what I mean? Because it took, I think we were working on the project of the farm for 3 years before I actually broke ground.
Wow.
It took a long time. So I'm not saying that it's like that for everybody or for every business, but there's a lot of hoops that had to be jumped through. And so there's kind of that aspect of it. There's definitely a political aspect. There's a social aspect of it, because Another thing that I also like to say is that trying to tell somebody who has experienced poverty their whole life is trying to explain to a fish that it's in water. It is very, very difficult for you to try to say, okay, what you have been exposed to, you deserve more than this. You deserve better than this if this is all you've had, and this is all you've had for generations.
Right.
So it's kind of almost like a culture shock thing, you know, seeing things that they've never seen before, not because, like, for example, I would say not because that they're impossible to grow or you just can't find them, but it's something that people go, oh, this is a black neighborhood. They don't want kohlrabi. They don't want arugula. They don't want, you know, bok choy, which I have been able to prove that they most definitely do want arugula and bok choy, you know? So, yeah.
They just have to know what it is. They're like, well, what is
and a lot of people do, but it's
okay.
just not having the availability, not having the access. If you're in the historic West Side, how often are you going to go out of your way to go get something that is not accessible for you? You know what I mean? So
I can get that.
Yeah.
I can get with that. Well, I was reading another article where there was a person speaking on the fact that the city continues to pour into underserved communities like the historic West Side, but that is not what is it's not helping, because as soon as we get the money in the communities, we find ways to tear it down or not take care of it, or we stay in the same state of mind like you were talking about. So what do you think about that? Because I don't know what culture this person was, but they clearly were like, we're putting money into the communities, but that's not what the issue is.
I think that is a cop-out.
Okay.
I really do. I feel like, again, it's not as easy as just being like, here, this is for you. Like, you're welcome. It is something that has to be looked at holistically.
Okay.
So the difference between a lot of other projects and my project, for example, is the community has seen me build that with my hands. They have seen me out there working. Someone told me I have sweat equity, you know, and it makes, like, I've had people come by and they ask questions, what you doing this for? And I will say, because you deserve it. And then that phrases it different in their mind. Because sometimes people be like, what are you even doing this for? What's this for? And I'll be like, well, it's for you. Well, we don't need this or something like that. And I'll be like, well, you deserve it. Don't you think so? And then that kind of gets different wheels turning in their heads. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a red pill, blue pill situation. You know, you can only kind of guide someone into understanding that they deserve better and that they were created with divine purpose. Like, the amounts of things that have to happen for me and you to just be sitting here right now are nothing short of miraculous. And I feel like that goes for every single person. You know, there are situations where life is hard, life is a struggle, but on the other side we have these equally magnificent, beautiful moments, and that's what makes it worth it. And so trying to let people know or show people more so, because it's one thing to say it, it's one thing to just be like, oh, we'll be better, you know what I mean? But if people don't have the tools to do better, the expectation is unrealistic.
Okay, and so what you're saying then is that this person who may have said this, it is there's some truth to it.
Yeah.
But if we are not helping people realize that they can do better, they deserve better, then it will kind of be a situation where we're throwing money at the problem, but if we don't get to the root of the problem, then the money may just simply just kind of go to a project. And
and then with that, and I don't mean to interrupt, but with that, then we also experience, like, that cycle continues. Oh, we tried to put a community center there, nobody really showed up. It went to got all dilapidated and tore down. We didn't refurbish it, and now they coming in and they're gonna bulldoze it and turn it into a gas station. You know what I mean? And again, when that initial investment was made, how intentional was the outreach to that community? You know what I mean? Again, was that something that someone put there to make themselves feel good? Which, again, is not a negative, but it's not going to change the world. You know, our sentiment, our opinions. It's going to be our example and our leadership and the work that we put into creating change that is actually going to do it. So I would say to that person, like, what was the effort to make sure that when you put this in this community or when you invested this, how intentional were you with letting these individuals know, these families know, these community members and stakeholders know that this was for them, Or was this just something that, I'm going to just, again, put this here to make myself feel good?
And that brings me to my question. So there is a historic, it looks like it may be like kind of a dog park or something like that. That's over there in the historic West Side that just got built, if I'm not mistaken, right after 2020, because I know it wasn't there during the pandemic, right? And I was at a meeting where somebody was talking about the park, and I don't know if it was queer. I can't.
Queer?
Yes.
Subject career?
Yes.
Councilman.
So councilman. So I didn't remember how to pronounce his name. But so this person was saying, okay, we have this park over here. It's cute and all that, but are we using it, or what was the purpose of the park for us in that community, especially where it's located? It's behind the Dollar General and then the McDonald's and all that other kind of stuff.
So Legacy Park.
Yes, I believe that's what it's called, because it has a lot of history about some people that were a part of that neighborhood back in the day. So what do you think the intention was for that? Like, what is the usage for it? Because this person was saying that we haven't been using it. It's just sitting there looking cute.
Ooh.
And so that, because like I said, it looks like a dog park from what I see, but in my mind, I'm trying to figure out when they built it in the community, were they saying, come here and sit, come here and walk your dogs, come here and get a piece of history and it's kind of like a museum. Come here and take pictures, have photo shoots. What were they saying when they built that?
That is super interesting. I do think to comment on what you were saying, the comment that someone else said, like, it's just pretty, but we're not doing nothing with it. I think our neighborhoods deserve something that's just pretty. Every once in a while. You know what I mean? Like, I think that a lot of times, like, for Black people, for example, we tend to correlate our value with our production. And sometimes it's not. I think even when you go to the farm, like I said, people didn't see me sweat. They didn't see me bleed. They didn't see me climb on the roof. I had no business on the roof, but I like the view. And equally so, they see me in prayer. They see me take naps out there. They see me, you know what I mean? Because that is also a part of the revolution. It's not just about the resilience. It's about having those moments where you can take a deep breath and relax. And I remember reading somewhere, one of our ancestors' greatest prayer was for rest. And so anytime we have that moment to just really feel and sit and be grounded, I think that we should honor that and cherish that. So for me personally, I've gone to Legacy Park. I've had lunch there. I do think that it is beautiful, and I do think that the history is interesting and much needed. And I do feel like the involvement could be a little bit more intentional. I think that it is a nice space. I think that there could be a whole lot of things that take place there. I would love to see more events, more big, huge events. Like their opening event there was nice.
Was it?
It was so much fun.
I missed it. I wanted to go
Oh
so
my
bad.
gosh. It was baby hair and locks and shea butter everywhere. I was so here for it. I was like, they had food, one of my good friends is one of the artists, is the artist that designed the structures. Shout out to Chase. It was fantastic. That felt really communal. That felt awesome. You know what I mean? But how do we get those moments to last? How do we get those feelings to linger,
And so is there a place where we can go, or do you know if there's a lot of red tape, if somebody does want to do an event there or something like that? Like, I'm wondering if the community knows that, hey, you can plan your event out here, or come out here and sit with your kids, or, if they know that, if it's been preached to them, or, that's what I'm wondering about that. But like you said, it's just pretty.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you, but can say that I will definitely check. I will knock
Yeah.
on some doors and I will say, what's the deal if I wanted to rent this out? Because a lot of times, it's like barriers, you know what I mean? You got to have X amount of insurance. You got to do this. You got to sign it by this day. You got to have two. Ain't nobody trying to do all of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when you think about, I remember being in a similar discussion when we were talking about the art center and people talking about, well, I want to do this. I want to give back to my community. I want it because the money goes towards, the building or programming, or I can't really remember, so don't quote me on that. But they're like, I want to give back, but the process of it is just like, again, we're talking about a group of people who often and on average are running and gunning, moving. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. I got to do this. So for me to take that time to sit here and go through a 30-page application, and for why? Who I could go get $1,000 from one of these, you know what I mean, for 2 sheets. And I just want it for a couple hours. You know what I mean? So that is something that we also do talk about within Obodo, especially when people, municipal entities come to us and they're just like, oh, well, how do we do this? How do we do that? And I'm just like, make it easy for people. Act like you want people to be a part of this. That's what you do. You know what I mean?
So so again, the red tape, not it's the red lining has turned into the red tape.
Yes.
So it's like I have so many things that I have to go through before I can even get here. So we're kind of like, okay, it's too
right.
much.
By that time, it's just like, we're going to go to Dave and Buster's. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
I can get with that. Well, let's talk about what the powers that be are trying to do with our food. So I am always reading because of the show, right?
Yes.
And I was reading about them possibly trying to put vaccines in our food. And I've been reading about the cow shortage.
Yeah.
The issues in farming that's going on now with a lot of the farmers. So can you speak to that? What is going on?
Ooh.
What is going on? Give it to me.
Come for me.
No, I want to get deep. But tell me a little a watered down version then.
Ooh, okay.
So we
I'll
can just
give you
kind of understand.
Oh man. All right. So I think to just illuminate it a little bit, my background is in culinary arts. So I worked in the food industry on one half, and then became what my community needed me to be, and now I'm a farmer. I do food justice program development, right? So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things as to goodness. So I think I would start off by saying that the majority of the food that is produced in our country is produced by corporations, and that alone should be concerning. The way that the food is grown, like with absolutely no reverence for this earth, because rich white 1%ers have enough money to build rockets and they can go wherever they want to go. So if the food run out, they straight. But the methods of industrial farming were never long term. They could have never been sustainable. They are not. A lot of the chemicals that are used as pesticides and herbicides were actually leftover chemicals that were supposed to be used during World War II, World War I, stuff like that. So they were like, oh, well, we got a surplus of this. Let's just go ahead and use it on these plants. And then we have monocropping, which is the practice of growing one crop in one, large spot. So the issue with that is that you don't, it draws from the soil all of one particular type of nutrient, and then it doesn't put it back. So it's like, if I was to just grow this one thing and it took all of the phosphorus out of the soil, and I just kept growing this, and this is a heavy phosphorus feeder, eventually I'm going to deplete it so much that what happens in most cases is the work to rebuild that soil is too extensive, too laborsome, too expensive, so they just move on to another plot of land, which is how actually a lot of small family farms are going out of business, because they cannot afford to keep up with the rate of turnover that we're having in the industrial kind of production space, which is the most harmful human activity we do to our planet is farming, is our food, which is really, really weird when you think about it. The thing that is absolutely necessary for us to survive, food, water, all of those things. But this planet, like the way that we we don't take care of it like we need it, and we absolutely do. So yeah.
Okay, and so what I hear you saying is, I was watching a movie, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a movie called Vivarium.
Oh no, I've seen it though. I've seen the preview for it. It's good.
No. Well, I mean, it's scary.
Okay.
But it's like and then also my husband and I, we were watching the Jetsons too. So we're watching the Jetsons, then Vivarium, and how these futuristic movies, they're showing us that they're eating like paper or some crap. I don't even know what they're doing. And then we watch the Jetsons and we see how they're programming stuff, and then they have this little microwavable thing that comes out. And I feel like they are pushing us to all of that stuff, and they want us to be happy with that. And I'm not sure that I'm not here for that part.
I'm not here for it either. I'm not here for none of that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that the bigger, like, if I had to come at it from like a social kind of activist standpoint, like when you think about how you separate a people from their food, you separate a people from a large part of their identity and their culture. And then when people don't know who they are, they can become whoever you want them to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? And what I think that is important for all people living in this country right now is to understand that we have lost the reverence that we have had between this connection.
Yes.
But we have lived out of sync with nature way less than we have lived in sync with nature. So to say it, let me make that less confusing. Basically, what we're doing now is new. You know what I mean? The way that we have been able to commune with nature and be a part of this cycle is so inherent to us that there are so many other ways that are deliberate for separating us between between ourselves and the connection that is necessary. Because when you go outside and you plant anything or you grow anything and you see how it's necessary that you need these bees, you know, I can't do this part of this job without you. I need this sun. I need this water. And to even tie it back into working on the West Side and intentionality, I've had people, houseless neighbors in that community, come help me when I had 2-ton pile of mulch to get into the actual farm. Literally people who did not have a pot to, pee in, literally came and helped me out, took time out of their day. And when they were done, I said, I needed you. Thank you. And it's that same type of intentionality that keeps us moving and rotating and all just in our togetherness. You know, we're our most powerful when we're together.
And that is like super duper dope. I talk about the homeless community a lot, and we don't realize that a lot of people that are out there are just like us, right?
Oh my God, yes.
We kind of see them as less than, but we don't know their stories. We have no clue if they want to be out there. Well, I mean, we have no clue. And so I'm always mindful of that community. And I think it's dope because, like, even where I work, sometimes we'll have homeless families come and kind of camp out near us, and then we're like, okay, well, should we be nervous or whatever? But you know, my our facility maintenance person, sometimes he's like, hey, you guys make sure nobody touches our stuff, and they really take their jobs pretty serious.
Yes. And Westside don't play about that farm. Let me let you know right now, they will. I saw somebody over here the other day. Was he supposed to be there? I'll be like, yeah, they were supposed to be here. Yeah. So
checking in with you.
Exactly. You know what I mean? It's that sense of ownership, and I think that in those situations, for anyone listening, when you have that kind of, should I be nervous? Should I be this? Should I be that? Like, the world is a scary place. It's not going to change anytime soon. But one thing that I think God has blessed me with is perspective. And what I'm going to do is allow you to show me who you are. I'm not going to assume. You know what I mean? Because I've had the wildest, craziest experiences with people at bus stops dropping straight gems on me. Things that, you know what I mean, are just the understanding of how you see life and the clarity of it, that if I didn't allow you to show me who you were, I would have missed out on this moment. And this moment was powerful. And this moment was special. And we need that, and we deserve that. So just give people the opportunity to show you who they are. And sometimes they show you that they are exactly who you thought. But that was on them. It wasn't on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You took the time to to see.
Right,
You took
exactly.
You took the time to try and understand.
Right.
So can you tell us how we can reach you and get some help? Like, do you offer classes? Can we be a part of helping, or how can we be a part of helping to change the narrative, volunteering?
Yes.
So what,
Man.
tell me all that.
Oh my goodness. So if you were out here and you were local, we would love to have you.
Okay.
You know, you could go on obodocollective.org, click volunteer, and we'll take it from there.
Okay.
But that doesn't have to be your thing. There's a lot of people that I am blessed and fortunate to be able to call friends, comrades in this work that work across a spectrum of need. And these grassroots organizers and organizations depend on volunteers. So find what you're into and find the people that are doing that work. And if you can give them a couple hours of your time, you have no idea. We will put you to work. Don't worry about, oh, I'm not good at this or I'm not good at that. It's fine. Come through. You're going to be, whatever we need help with, we're more than willing to accept help, especially from community members. But as far as reaching out for Obodo, personally, or coming to us, the farm is located at 1300 C Street.
Okay.
That is in the 89106. If you are familiar with the area, it is right around the corner from Annie's, best barbecue in the city. Quote me on that one. Come for me if you want to. But, and then I would say I'm there generally most days, except for when there's extreme wind.
Okay.
Right now, I don't really expect to have too many people out there because it's crazy. So my day starts at 4 a.m. and ends at 9 because
Wow. Okay.
it's hot. You know what I mean? Sis still got to do what she got to do, but it's hot.
Okay.
So, and I don't necessarily like exposing people to that because it is kind of a transition period. And if you're not used to it, then you can make yourself sick.
Okay.
Even if you are used to it, I just actually am coming off of a little heat exhaustion myself. So just making sure that you guys are taking care of yourself, but we will pick back up on our classes. I do host classes. The idea for our space is not only to reduce food insecurity, but to also offer a green space where the community can convene with one another. So we've hosted events there alongside other nonprofits and other organizations, and we're kind of looking into how we would go about hosting other things, quinces, graduations, birthdays,
Yeah,
like
all
how
that.
would that be, you know, that kind of stuff. The farm itself is about 8 months old now. So there's still a lot of stuff that I want to see happen and a lot of stuff I want to see done. But we love hosting events. We love collaborating with different events, and making sure that, you know, people always feel welcome and invited. And
That sounds super dope. So I know we're gonna talk. Yeah, I really, really want to stop by, and I want to thank you so much for coming out. And I want to know your final thoughts on independence. What are your thoughts on independence? Are we lacking it? Are we making strides to get independent of just a system that seems to be trying to push us in a direction that doesn't look like it's?
I think we need to really hone in and define independence versus like segregation, and independence versus like alienation, because I feel like that's what is the weapon right now. Like the main like divisive tact that we see, or that we see like in social media and the news and everything, is, oh, look at these people, they are so different from you. You know what I mean? Or, hey, look at this is so different from you. And that is the biggest lie we've ever been told, is that we're more different than we are alike. So if my final thoughts on independence would be to focus on the independence of your heart and the independence of your mind, and making sure that the things that you are doing and the person that you want to be is the person that you were truly meant to be.
Okay.
You're not being, you know, I'm not sitting here being an angry Black woman because that's the idea of what I'm supposed to be. That's not what's being projected on me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Making sure that you are independent of things that no longer serve you. Boom.
That's dope. So my last question, do you believe we're in the last days as the Bible describes?
Ooh, do I believe we're in the last days? I
Yes.
think that one thing that I have learned from the Bible, actually reading scripture, that I had to pray on because I could not understand it. There was this one part in scripture that was talking about, for something to live, it has to die. And I was like, I don't get this. And then, you know, the Most High went ahead and showed me through the work that I do. And what happens is when a plant comes to the end of its life, it'll stop focusing its energy on it, on the leaves or the fruit it's producing, and focus on flowering, and it's called bolting. And that means that the plant is at the end of its life. It's going to start to produce the seeds, and in those seeds is contained new life. So end of days, possibly, because these people out here doing all the things and doing, you know what I mean?
All the things.
But the end of something always marks the beginning of something else. And I'm very, very excited as to what is the time that we usher in. I'm very excited to see what the next, with this generation of people, what we're going to decide. I feel like a lot of people are waking up and they're taking the right pill. They're waking up out of the matrix, and they're kind of starting to see like, oh, we don't have to be at ends all the time. We don't have to be fighting all the time. You know what I mean? So we could be at the end of some days, but not the end of our best days.
Okay. Man, so enlightening and so deep. Well, when we
I watch a lot of anime. So
anime. Now I would have never thought of that.
oh
I never
yes,
thought
honey.
of that.
Oh yes, bad with it.
When we come back, our special musical guest, Leviticus, aka Victrell IAM, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, I'm sure he'll correct me, is in the building, and we will be right back. We're discussing It Runs in the Family, and I wanted to end my theme of the family, closing May out, talking about some much needed dialogue about generational curses, genetic disease, and family trauma.
So we grew up in the household like we're never going to drink, we're never going to do drugs, because we saw what it did and we didn't want to do it.
It's my favorite song. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, my mind. Yeah, yeah, my mind.
It's because, boom, 2008. Jasmine Sullivan came out with Bust the Windows Out. And
She did.
That
We
was
was
a new
busting
vibe.
windows, wasn't we?
That was a new vibe. I was like...
I was requesting that on karaoke a lot.
I'm like 14 years old. I don't know nothing about busting windows out of nobody's car. I'm not old enough to date nobody with a car, but I sang that song with my whole...
Just don't have too much fun without me. Don't have too much, don't have too much fun.
I think the main thing that I try to share with the artists is it's all about your package and your purpose. If you don't know who you are, then it's going to be really hard for me as a promoter or an event coordinator to sell that. So
Drifting on a memory. There's no place I'd rather be than with you.
We tell the stories that we're familiar with.
Okay.
When there's nothing from nothing leaves nothing.
All you gotta do is say yes. All you gotta do is say yes.
How would you tell them to keep the music playing 2023 and beyond?
And put people around you that are going the same place that you're going to.
Okay.
So yeah, I believe a woman can definitely handle any and every situation because they can adapt very well, where most men, we would kind of fold. But it's nothing like a man to step into his position and to really just step into his role.
I think gospel music is an interpretation, as any music, to your life.
Yes.
Your life.
And we are back. If you just joined us, you're tuned into the I Am Talitha Cumi show by Food for the Soul Media Group with me, Talitha Cumi, live on FB and YouTube on Food for the Soul Media Group and Vegas Hype Media. So you guys, I have to introduce my special spotlight artist of the evening. He hails from Indianapolis, Indiana, and relocated to Las Vegas with his family in 2019. He has been making music since he could remember. He produces, mixes, and masters all in-house, which means that he's doing all of the stuff. He's been pushing his music independently using social media to grow his audience, and he is here in the building. Welcome to the show. Tell me how to pronounce it.
Victrell IAM or Leviticus.
Victrell IAM or Leviticus. So I was right.
Yes, ma'am. You got it on the nail. Most people don't. So I'm really surprised.
Thank you. I'm good with it. And Leviticus, because I know, the Bible chapter or
yes, ma'am.
the The book. I'm sorry, not
It's
chapter.
all good.
Book. So I want to get into a couple of questions before you perform, and I want to know why the name Leviticus. Who gave you that name, and why? Does
So
it
my
mean something?
mom, my mom Lavilia actually gave me the name Leviticus. I don't know if she thought that it was going. She did think about the book. She was like, I'm gonna name you Leviticus because it means law and it's very powerful. So she was like, it actually correlates with all my siblings in some weird way. So like I have Leviticus, which means law. Victoria is victory. Shael, which is challenges, and then my love, which is just my mom feels like it's the path of her life. So it all fits.
Your mom is kind of deep with it. Okay, then. All right. Okay, so I get it. So it means law. So Leviticus means law. So when you decided that you were going to do music, even long ago when you were younger, did you think that name, you were going to keep that name because you're like, okay, I'm going to morph all that I do into this name?
No, actually, I went and made so many different rap names. I tried to be different. I actually went with Leviticus for most of the time, but then I found Victrell IAM. Made music and like kind of built a little bit of what I got, and I don't know. I just felt weird changing it again to Leviticus because it feels more authentic. But Victrell IAM, I don't know, because it's my middle name. You know, so it's like Victrell IAM because people don't know me by Victrell, so I wanted to make it prominent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's dope. What type of style is your music? Like, how would you describe it?
I would describe it as alternative R&B.
Okay.
Like people give me, like they say once they hear the new album I'm working on, people tell me they got Brent Faiyaz vibes, like Steve Lacy, Tyler. So I just try to take pieces from the greatest, like Tyler, the Creator, Kanye, Childish Gambino, things like that.
Yeah. What made you choose music? You said that you were doing it for as long as you can remember, but what do you remember that made you say, man, music is that's what I have to do?
Right. Actually, it was being in the choir since I was a wee child. I've been singing, so I just learned how to, stretch my voice and do different things, and then I got into production because I wanted to rap to some gospel music, but I didn't want to pay for beats, so I just started to learn, and then it just grew from there.
So you taught yourself how to make beats?
Yeah, all from YouTube. So
Really?
I feel like it's the best education source.
Man, it really is.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm glad they're not charging yet. But yeah, it really is. And so that's what it was then. So you were singing and you're like, I want to make some beats for myself, and you're like, I can't afford, to work with the producers just yet. So you're like, I'm just gonna do my own thing. Do you think you will ever work with other producers, or are you kind of possessive of, you know what, I want my sound to sound like what I come up with, what comes out of my head?
Actually, it doesn't matter. I'm so focused. Like when I get into a studio session, it's like I don't really like calling other people, but it's like if they are open to work, then I am. But usually I just stick to myself. I don't know. I'm not really possessive though.
Okay. What are some of the hardest challenges you think independent artists like you are facing today when it comes to the industry?
I feel like honestly promotion, because most artists like don't have $10K to put up front, like for radio play. Just label distribution, like labels have a chokehold on like promoting ads and like
they do.
Everything that comes with being an artist. But I feel like what we can do now is just use social media as we do now and just stick on it, because you're not gonna blow in a night.
Yeah,
well, you might, but
and I think teaming up with other people and coming on shows like this, so you can kind of broaden your audience. So so that was cool that we got a chance to hook up, and that's what I'm trying to do for a lot of local artists, because although they might be in their communities, being on a show like this, now you have people who like my stuff or people who like the station stuff. Now they know, now they've heard of you now, and so they might like, oh, I want to see what he has going on. So yeah, I think that that's cool.
Thank you again for the opportunity. I just wanted to let you know that.
You're welcome. I remember you, like I told you, and Bobby's not here, so he's so mad. But
man.
I remember when we came during the pandemic, when your mom had her launch for her clothing line at the hotel. I forgot what the hotel was. Bellagio. Was it Bellagio? And we met you then, and I think you rapped, you performed then.
Yeah, I did.
And then you guys took pictures. So let us know what you have coming up and where we can follow you on social media.
All right. So first things first, you can follow me at Victrell IAM on all social medias. Somewhere it might be the Victrell IAM, but it's simple, VICTRELL IAM. And I got an album coming out in September called 19, and it comes along with a movie. So be ready for that.
You shooting a movie with the album?
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Doing an album release party at the movie theater.
Oh, that's gonna be dope. Please let me know when it is. I would love to.
Front row tickets. I got
thank you, because we're doing. I've been out here, kind of doing red carpet stuff. So I would love to come out and talk to some people and find out what they thought about it and everything.
Yeah, definitely.
So, my last question before you perform: God, truth, or a lie?
You got me. It's like you didn't get me. God is definitely the truth. He's what I live by. I pray every night. With the name Leviticus, you really can't hide from it as much as I tried to hide from it. you know, I'm only 19, but I've fought so much with God. But He got me in the chokehold. So it's not every time I put my trust in Him, good things go. So God is definitely real.
God, truth. Thank you so much. I want to thank you so much for coming out. As we close the show out, please keep in mind we are looking for positive artists who would like to have a live feature performance to end my show every week. I am a lover of all things music, and I really would love to showcase you and give you a platform to do your thing. You can be a Christian artist or a secular artist, but we just need music with some substance and positivity. If you're interested, you can go to our email at foodforthesoulpresents@gmail.com, and you can submit your music and email us there, and you could be our next guest. So we are so excited to close us out tonight with our spotlight artist of the week, Mr. Victrell, IAM Leviticus, with his hit Take That Leap.
You wanna be a superstar, just reach out, it ain't that far. Close your eyes, see what you think. Nothing silly about a dream. Wanna be a superstar, take that leap. Yeah. Nothing can stop me. Yeah, I'm very optimistic. Yeah, I think you missed it. Flipped a couple switches in my brain. Now I'm on again. You picking up the phone again. Man, I think I'm on to something. I'm looking at the wall. Yeah, it's very tall, but I'm about to fail. Hope I don't fail, cause you know I can't get failing grades. That's what my mama say. Yeah, it was a struggle for a brother, kept me out the straight, so mama could say, you wanna be a superstar, just reach out, it ain't that far. Close your eyes, see what you think. Nothing silly about a dream. Wanna be a superstar, take that lead. Why don't you take that lead? Take that chance. Nothing is stopping you. Won't you grab my hand? Go ahead and lead the way. Yeah, I'm right behind. Take the torch, light it on fire. It looks like I'm by myself again. The only boy with 3 sisters. I gotta leave my mistress. I gotta leave the household. So please don't call the house phone. Superstar, ain't that far? What you think about a dream? Superstar, take that lead. You wanna be a superstar, just reach out, it ain't that far. Close your eyes, see what you think. Nothing silly about a dream. Wanna be a superstar, take that. You wanna be a superstar, just reach out, it ain't that far. Close your eyes, see what you think. Nothing silly about a dream. Wanna be a superstar, take that lead.
I want to be a superstar. I do. And I am going to take that leap. So I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Victrell IAM. Make sure to tune in every Friday to the I Am Talitha Cumi show at 7:30 p.m. on our FB page and YouTube station, Food for the Soul Media Group or Vegas Hype Media. And tell your people, catch the Rewind show every Wednesday, same time, 7:30 p.m. on our YouTube station. And don't forget to follow me on all of my social media platforms. I Am Talitha Cumi and Food for the Soul Media Group. Our show tonight has been sponsored in part by Orlay Worldwide, Big Bobby B Beats, Obodo Collective, and Victrell IAM Music. Join us next week. We will be discussing money tight. So we're going to be talking about some money, you guys, continuing our independence. Stay tuned in for Bobby B and the Side Chain coming up next at 8:40 on our Food for the Soul FB page. And we are out of here, y'all. We'll holla.
Say, man, get up. You got a cooking show to film, dog. Shoot. Shut up talking to me, Joe. I don't want to hear it. Alright, so Joe is right here with the dog bothering me, so I'm going to just cook this kind of quiet. I'm going to cook some leftovers and I'm going to make some Chinese food with it. I had a couple of barbecue chicken legs. Sorry about that narcotic, but I'm going to still eat this chicken. And this egg. So I dumped this egg in this little bit of oil. Put my seasonings on it. I hate that I had to get great value because that's all that Walmart has. I need to stop going to Walmart. But I can't because it's so cheap. So in that oil, I put the onions in there. Let that cook a little bit. You see, I got that fire on for that other oil. That's where I'm going to put my rice. But I got this going. Then I'm going to drop a little bit of peas and carrot in there, man. Just enough to give it some sweetness, dog. There we go, let's stir it up. Now that soy sauce, I forgot about that, Jack. Alright, so now I'm gonna introduce this rice into this oil. You see it's popping and everything. This rice has been in my refrigerator for about 4 days. So yeah, maybe, yeah. Alright, so we back at that. I'm gonna put a little bit of bell pepper in there just to give it some flavor and a little bit of garlic. That's done. I'm gonna dump that into that rice after I get that rice ready with some soy sauce. Now I would have normally put some ginger in there, but it was during lunchtime and I didn't feel like doing all of that. So this would have got some ginger and some more garlic, but no, we just do some soy sauce right now and we'll make that work. And a little bit of my seasoned magic that I created. I love it. We'll put that on there, man. That's tasty right there, Jack. All right, let's stir it up real good and let's dump the rest of that veggie on there. This is probably just about where my boy Q would stop. He'll probably stop about right here, you know, and then eat that and then go in there and make some beats. But I'm not. I'm about to put this protein in there. So let's chop up this bird. We're gonna get it and we're gonna dice it up pretty fast. Man, my brother-in-law is basically a dinner napkin. Now, I'm totally sorry about this part right here for you vegans, man. I might as well think about putting them sensors over it. You know what I'm saying? One of those little privacy sensors that they used to do in the 90s or what have you. But no. Let's introduce that little piece of chicken. So a tablespoon of oil. Right in that same seasoned pan with like the little onion bits and everything else. Ah, rats. I dropped some on the side. Here you go, boy. He likes to sit here and watch me cook, but you know you gotta stay right over there because I'm black. We're gonna take and we're gonna throw this back into some oil. Get that back fried. Now this was some barbecue bird, so it's already really good and tasty. So we're gonna take that. I chop my egg up big because I want to. Boom, big egg. So yeah, we introduce that bird to that there. Yeah, that's good. Now I was thinking about putting a little bit more soy sauce in there, but I soy sauce that bird already good. Chicken and soy sauce good already. And that rice is already good in soy sauce, so I think that's fine. I'm just gonna put this oyster sauce in there. That's gonna be nice. This is really what you call good eating right here. I'm mad Joe bothered me this whole time.